Hello, I'm Rob Westervelt, editor of IHS Chemical Week, joining you from the 2017 IHS Market World Petrochemical Conference. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Fleetwood Grobler, Executive Vice President of SASOL's Chemicals Business. Fleetwood, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Rob.
Start with a broad question. What are you seeing, what's going on in the market right now from a demand and supply perspective? What are you seeing in North America?
Well, I'm really encouraged to see that consumer optimism is really growing. We see the trend is really positive in that sense. So that means for the chemical industry, it means demand is solid and that the outlook for demand is solid going forward. And specifically the US, not only in the US, I think also in Europe we see 5-6 year high in terms of optimism, in terms of consumer spending. So that's looking up.
Great. And can you give us an update on the Lake Charles project? I know it's more than 50% complete now. Where does it stand now, and when do you expect to have it online?
Yes, so the project is tracking well. So our planning is really to get the project completed towards the latter part of next year. So the cracker is all planned to start up the third quarter of next year, and then some of the large ethylene consuming units would then follow. So, and that will then go into 19 for the complete total value chain to be fully started and commissioned.
Okay. Where does SASOL see growth in this market, and where are you positioned? How are you positioning yourself to capture that?
Well, first and foremost, Rob, we need to deliver on the big investment that we're currently busy with in Lake Charles. So that's our first growth node. As a company, we're also heavily investing in Southern Africa. So we've got exploration in terms of oil and gas in the Mozambique neighboring country to South Africa. That's a big focus for us. That's securing our feedstock for South Africa operations for the next 20, 30 years. It's an important tenet of our strategy. If I look in general in terms of growth, we believe that you need to have a good geographic spread of your assets. So we're modestly looking and investing now in China. We are also looking at a continued differentiation of our product portfolio. We believe that is value accretive in terms of focusing on that, grow with your customers with specific solutions that they may need in their growth themselves. We're also thinking that the industry is constantly consolidating, and so the opportunities that arise through select mergers and acquisitions, that would be an area we were focusing on. And last but not least, we're also re-looking and getting more robustness in our capital allocation processes. And to this end, I would also see that the trend of digitalization is getting to a point where it will add value because our customers are also looking at efficiency, productivity gains, the way that they interact with us. The business-to-business environment in terms of digitalization has been slower to catch up, but the trend is really going strong. And as SASOL, we're also positioning ourselves to be able to get a value proposition to our customers in terms of that type of interaction. And the whole value chain is enabled through a very good and thorough scrutiny and assessment. How can digitalization add value and bring profitability back in some areas to the value chain?
Okay. And where are you in that digitalization effort? Is it early stages? I mean, we've heard it seems to be taken greater hold in Europe than it has in the US or possibly South Africa. Where does SASOL stand with it today?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there are various approaches. So what I found in Europe that's been more focused on operations, big data in terms of number crunching, getting the operations efficiency intact and build leverage of that. We are focused more on the customer journey. So we look at the experience from a customer point of view. So we've done a diagnostic phase last year. And we, in this financial year or this calendar year, we actually now kicked off a process really to enable that. And as you know, digitalization is following, in most cases, an agile process. So that means you look at a smaller risk in terms of implementing something, testing it with a customer, adjust as required, and then to launch for that specific area. And then once that's established, you can take it to other product groups, you can take it to other regions, and then do your whole business. So we're on that journey. In the early part, we've launched now a agile digitalization process in one of our product groupings. and that is in South Africa, but we gear up so that we can deliver that and then move globally and roll it out on a broader base.
Okay. And also, one more question. You mentioned M&A. Would you look to strengthen your existing products? Would it be to add new technologies or products to the portfolio, a mix or both?
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more about your M&A strategy?
Yes, so in terms of our base chemicals, we are much more focused on partnerships.
Yeah.
And we see that partnerships is really the way to buy into maybe big projects or cracker options. So we will continue that. In our performance chemicals business, it's more about enhancing our differentiated portfolio. And to that end, I believe you'll have to look at what is the pieces of the puzzle that make sense for your particular business. And there we are now in a process where we have really looked at the various targets that we would be interested in. So you do your homework, getting the desktop studies done, so that when those targets become available, that you're ready so that you can define what are the synergies and you can really step out much quicker out of the starting blocks.
Okay. Fleetwood, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Rob.
Great.